Middle position, pre-flop decisions. Middle position is where a lot of online win rates get made or lost. You are not early position tight, and you are not late position loose. You are in the middle of the food chain, which means your edge comes from choosing hands that can survive pressure from players left to act, while still attacking the passive mistakes on the right. If you treat MP like the cutoff, you will get 3-bet too much and forced into low expected value calls. If you treat it like under the gun, you donate expected value by folding hands that play great in position against weaker blinds. Your job is to build a range that is openable and also defendable against competent aggression. What middle position really means online. In online poker games, MP is less about the label and more about the number and type of players behind you. At a 6-max table, MP is often the low jack with cutoff, button, and blinds left. At 9-handed, you might have 2 or 3 players still to act who are capable of squeezing. That matters because preflop expected value is highly sensitive to what happens after you click raise. When multi-tabling and playing fast pools, population tendencies become predictable. Most regulars 3-bet, more versus MP than versus under the gun, and recreational players cold call too wide in late position. Both impact how wide you should open. Your MP job, build a raise range that can take heat. Here's the core principle. Your MP opening range is not just a list of hands you like. It is a set of hands that can handle the 2 most common punishments you face after opening. First, the 3-bet from cutoff or button, often at a higher frequency than they use versus under the gun. Second, the cold call from weaker players, which drags you into multiway pots where thin hands lose clarity. If you open hands that cannot profitably continue versus a 3-bet or cannot realize equity well post-flop, you have created a range that looks active but bleeds expected value. Relative hand strength is everything, but in MP, realization is often the deciding factor. Rake and why it pushes you towards stronger opens. Online rake punishes small edges. This is a big deal in MP because many borderline opens make money only when you realize a high fraction of equity and avoid tough squeezes. When rake is significant, hands like weak-suited gappers or dominated off-suit broadways lose a lot of their theoretical profit. Do not make rake your only reason. Use it as one variable. If the players behind are passive and the blinds are weak, you can open wider. If you have 2 thinking regulars on the left who 3-bet aggressively, you tighten and focus on hands that can either 4-bet or call profitably. Who is left to act dictates strategy. This is the MP lever most players ignore. You should look left before you look at your cards. Your opening frequency should move based on the likelihood of getting attacked. First, active regular in cutoff and button. Tighten your open range, reduce weak offsuit broadways like King-Jack offsuit and Queen-Jack offsuit. Favor suited broadways, pocket pairs, and hands that can call a 3-bet without collapsing post-flop. Second, passive lineup behind. Open more suited connectors, suited aces, and some offsuit broadways that become profitable when you get fewer 3-bets and more heads-up pots. Third, cold callers behind. Tighten the bottom of your range. Multiway pots in online environments are brutal for hands that rely on fold equity. Context dictates strategy. MP is not a static chart spot. It is range construction under uncertainty, and you get to reduce that uncertainty by tracking who is left to act. Practical MP range construction. At 100 big blinds in a typical online pool, a solid MP opening range often looks like this conceptually. It is not a chart, it is a framework. First, value core. Pocket 7s and better, ace-jack suited and better, ace-queen offsuit and better, and king-queen suited. These hands stay strong across many runouts and can continue versus 3-bets. Second, realization hands. Suited broadways like king-jack suited, queen-jack suited, jack-10 suited. They flop equity, they are not dead versus 3-bets, and they perform well in position. Third, selective suited connectors. 10, 9 suited, 9, 8 suited, 8, 7 suited in softer lineups or when cutoff and button are passive. These are not auto-opens if you expect a lot of 3-betting. Fourth, suited aces, ace-5 suited. to ace-2 suited can be great open candidates because they can turn into 4-bet bluffs versus aggressive players and still have playability when called. Notice what is missing. Weak offsuit broadways, dominated aces like ace-10 offsuit, and garbage-suited gappers. The mistake is not opening them sometimes. The mistake is opening them without a plan versus the players behind. Anti-hope poker. Stop set mining preflop. If you open a small pair in MP with the mindset, I am trying to flop a set, you are already losing. Small pairs make money when you win enough medium pots through position, c-betting, and smart runouts. In online poker, you are not getting paid every time you hit, and rake eats the small wins. Open pairs, because they have decent equity, can defend versus 3 bets at some frequency and give you robust post-flop lines. If you fold every small pair to a 3-bet, you should be opening fewer of them in MP when aggressive players are behind you. No passive fantasies, only expected value. Facing the 3-bet from cutoff or button. This is the fork in the road that defines MP profitability. Versus a competent 3-better, your response should be built around 3 buckets. First, 4-bet for value. Pocket queens and better, ace-king. Sometimes pocket jacks and ace-queen suited depending on sizing and opponent. Second, call. Hands that realize well and are not dominated, such as ace-queen suited, ace-jack suited, king-queen suited, and some suited connectors at lower frequency. Pocket pairs can call if the opponent is not oversized and you can play well post-flop. Third, fold. Dominated and low realization hands, especially offsuit broadways and weak-suited hands that get squeezed out post-flop. Your biggest leak to fix here is calling too wide. People call 3 bets with hands that are technically ahead of a bluffing range, but play terribly on the flop and turn. Equity is not the same as expected value. Your ability to realize that equity is the difference. Hand scenario. The MP squeeze magnet. Online. 6 max, 100 big blinds. Hero opens MP to 2.5 big blinds with king-queen of spades. Cutoff is a thinking regular who 3-bets a lot. Button is a recreational cold caller. Blinds are unknown. Cutoff makes it 9 big blinds. Button calls. Both blinds fold. Hero has a decision. This is exactly why MP needs a defendable range. If you fold king-queen of spades here, your MP range becomes too weak versus aggressive regulars. If you mindlessly call with everything, you get crushed post-flop in a bloated pot. Hero calls 9 big blinds. Pot is 28.5 big blinds. Flop comes jack of clubs, 7 of hearts, 2 of spades. Cutoff C bets 7 big blinds, button calls. With 2 overcards plus a backdoor flush draw, hero should mostly call. You are getting a great price and position versus cutoff, and button calling wide increases the value of realizing equity. Folding is too tight, raising is usually worse because you fold out bluffs and isolate yourself versus stronger hands. The plan is to call, then play turns aggressively when you pick up equity, such as an ace of spades, a 10 of hearts, or a 9 of spades, and to keep your range protected on boards where cutoff can barrel. Common MP leaks and fixes. First, leak. Opening hands that cannot continue versus 3 bets, then folding too much. Fix. Tighten the bottom and add hands that call or 4-bet well. Second, leak. Overcalling 3 bets with suited junk because it looks pretty. Fix. Prefer hands with clear equity and strong realizability, not just suitedness. Third, leak. Ignoring seat dynamics and opening the same range every table. Fix. Let left side aggression drive your frequency more than your mood. Fourth, leak. Set mining mentality with small pairs. Fix. Treat pairs as post-flop tools, not lottery tickets. Key takeaway. In middle position, your pre-flop raise is only profitable if your range can handle the players left to act. Tighten when aggressive regulars can 3-bet you, widen when the pool behind is passive, and avoid opens that you cannot continue with. Build an MP range that is openable and defendable, account for online rake, and make every open with a plan versus a 3-bet. Now, let's test your edge. Question 1. What are the two most common punishments your MP opening range must be built to handle after you raise? Answer: a higher frequency 3-bet from cutoff and button, and a cold call from weaker players that creates multiway pots. Explanation: the article says MP ranges must survive pressure from players left to act, meaning 3 bets, while also dealing with late position cold calls that reduce clarity and realization. Question 2. According to the article, how should your MP opening frequency change when cutoff and button are aggressive 3-betters? Answer: tighten your opens and reduce low realization hands, especially weak offsuit broadways, favoring hands that can call or 4-bet profitably. Explanation: the text recommends tightening versus active regulars on the left and prioritizing hands that can continue versus 3-bets without collapsing post-flop. Question 3. Why does online rake push you towards stronger MP opens, especially with borderline hands? Answer: rake punishes small edges, causing borderline opens like weak-suited gappers or dominated offsuit broadways to lose much of their theoretical profit. Explanation: the article explains that many thin MP opens only win when you realize a high fraction of equity and avoid tough squeezes, and rake eats those small gains. Question 4. What is the anti-hope poker adjustment the article recommends for small pairs opened from MP? Answer: don't open small pairs just to set mine. Open them as post-flop tools with playable lines and reduce them if you'll fold them too often to 3 bets. Explanation: the article says set mining mindset is losing online because you won't always get paid and rake eats small wins. Pairs should contribute through position, c-betting, and robust post-flop play. Question 5. In the hand scenario, after MP calls the 3-bet with king-queen of spades and sees a jack of clubs, 7 of hearts, 2 of spades flop facing a c-bet and a call, what line does the article recommend for hero? Answer: mostly call the c-bet. Explanation: with 2 overcards plus a backdoor flush draw and a good price in position, the article says folding is too tight and raising is usually worse because it folds out bluffs and isolates versus stronger hands. Study hard, play smart. That's it for now. I'll see you in the next lesson.